Hey, everyone. Welcome to Pretty Smart. My name is Taishay. I'll be the host, and then I have my girls with me, Camille and Sydney.
Hey,
Hey, babies. Tonight we're going to be talking about gaslighting and narcissistic people. I'll put like that, or narcissistic ways, which will be very interesting. I would love to get a lot of information on that because I'm not big on that. I probably do know people and just don't realize it, but we'll definitely get into that. But first and foremost, we got to play catch up because it's been a while since I've seen y'all. What's been up? Give me some scoop on what's been going on in your lives.
Yes, miss you so much. Yes, it's been on. For me, I defend my dissertation on Monday, so I've been really running. I went out to Atlanta last week for a conference. It was at the Black Doctoral Network. Amazing time with so many young Black scholars, and just poured out. They poured into me, so I loved it so much. I was like,
oh my God,
back to California. So I decided to stay.
I love it. And you have a glow going on too. You get on a date or anything while you're down there? You find anybody?
For a week. No, I've just been mainly focusing on wrapping up this chapter of my life and just kind of like becoming the doctor officially. And then just really, I don't know, I'm looking forward to just getting rest and drinking more wine. And
yes, cheers to that.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
What about you, Sid?
Awesome job, Camille. I just want to say congrats.
Yes, congratulations for sure.
I mean, nothing really. I just got back from Utah. I went out to I fly into Vegas, and then you got to hang out there for a little bit. And then I made my way to St. George, Utah, where my best friend lives. So, and my nephew. So I had to go out and see them. And other than that, nothing. I mean, I got this big gig. I'm just waiting for announcements of when it's time to go film. So I'm waiting on that. And I never feel safe until contracts are signed. So until my contract's signed, I don't feel safe. But I'm excited about that. Other than that,
I'm excited for you. That's some big news there. I can't wait to hear that. I hear all
no, I'm not leaving, you guys. I just got a comment. You leaving me? No, I will still be here. Don't worry.
You can hop in while you're on set and sneak in and say, hey, y'all.
Exactly.
But yes, I do have to say, though, I love the way y'all look right now. I mean, it's just amazing. Both of y'all have this glow. I don't know if it's the lipstick that both of y'all just got it popping, but I'm ready to get some red lipstick on, too, so I can be my sister.
Camille, you're my inspiration for that. Sorry, my light just went out, so now I have to get it back.
It's like, it did get a little dark.
I know, it's like dog and cat. They think they want to, like, play wrestle underneath my stool, and then it pulls my light out.
And you said you were going to say something, I think, before I cut you off.
Oh, no, I think I was just going to say it's so good to see you guys. It has been a minute.
Yes.
Glad I'm looking at your faces.
Yeah, I feel like it's been over a month, right? It's been over a month since I've seen you.
It's been a while.
So, yeah, I had surgery a month ago, and I am still trying to recover. So the struggle is real right now. I have like 2 cuts on my knee. Which they're like, the doctor did a really good job on it, but they kind of irritate me. And then my knee is swollen because of the weather change. I'm assuming that's why. So yeah, I've just been trying to recover, get myself together, and mentally, I don't even want to talk about it because it's like, it's so mentally draining, but I'm getting to a better place. Yeah, I'm definitely getting to a better place, being able to walk now and be more independent, because at first I was so dependent that I was crying like, I don't like this. I have to ask everybody for help. So, but now it's getting better. So
good, Taisha. I'm so sorry you're going through that.
It's all good though. It's I've heard worse though.
Healing vibes.
Thank you, baby. Thank you.
Healing energy.
Hey, Virgo gang, but we still got our Aquarius in the building too. All right, so let's get into this narcissistic gaslighting. Honestly, I've heard the definition of gaslighting so many times, and I'm still like, what? I don't get it. Like, gaslighting, I thought was like you're hyping somebody up, but clearly I'm wrong.
So if you don't mind, Camille, so gaslighting is like, it's like a psychological manipulation. It's a way for like people to place self-doubt in their victims' minds. So it's manipulation to a point. You know what I mean? That's what gaslighting is.
Okay, so that kind of does go along with the whole narcissistic thing.
Yes,
So narcissistic people gaslight people.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
They use to then make you feel as if you're going crazy.
Self-doubt. Yep. That's what they do.
Right. So it's like it could be an event that actually occurred. Let's just say you went out and you saw him look at someone else's behind, right? And you saw him, but he'll tell you that's not what you saw. You saw him away, down and around, and it wasn't at all. It was just something that was in the same motion. But what you saw, that was absolutely incorrect. So it's like, feel like you are crazy because you know you experienced these things, but they're saying that you didn't. And after, people really do psychologically internalize what they have been told over and over and over and over and over again. So that's what it means to be gaslit. So it's a very, very strong form of abuse and manipulation, psychological abuse.
Great job breaking that down.
Yeah, both of y'all. Thank you for breaking that down for me, because I'm telling you, so many people, I've been reading on it because I always see gaslight on like social media. Everyone be like, oh, she's gaslighting. And it's like, what? And I have to go through people's comments to see what it means. And I'm still like so confused.
People who, especially narcissists, I'm sorry, I'm calling y'all out. You guys, most of them, they are gaslighters to the max because they need everything for their benefit, right? But they will literally have you contemplating your whole life. People who gaslight and manipulate. Like you will be having an argument about A and B and it will get turned into C, which benefits them. And then they will have you rethinking your whole life. Like, did I say that? Was it my fault? Wait, I did. It's my fault. They will turn your whole brain around, especially the good ones, the ones who know how to do it.
I do have a question about that, and like not to offend anyone at all whatsoever, just learning some stuff. I'll get to that in a second, but like, do people who are like very low self-esteem or like don't have a lot of confidence in themselves, are they the ones that get the gaslighted the most? Does that make sense?
I would say personally, yes. Sometimes I can't say that for everybody. It just, they're people you're talking about like people pleasers, right?
Yeah, like, those two. Like they're easily manipulated. Like they're naive.
Yeah, so people who are like that, very easy targets because a manipulator or a narcissist will be able to control them all day. You know, even when they do something wrong, they will have it turned around and convinced it's your fault that they did that, and now you should be the one saying sorry about it.
Yeah. See, I guess I can't be fooled on that. I am a people pleaser, but I'm very strong-minded. It's going to take a lot for me to change my mind about anything, especially if I'm in my head.
Yeah. They would not work on me now. I'm too old for that. Try me with that. Goodbye.
Gotcha. So narcissistic people, what do you guys think like the early signs of figuring out someone's a narcissist?
Controlling.
Well, I did this reel on my Instagram page. Y'all can go check that out at Goddess Queen Awakening with the underscores. And what happened was there was a phone call that was made, and the gentleman, because I did not return his phone call right away, he calls me back and he pursues me very aggressively in a controlling way. And he was basically like, hello, my name is Dimitri. Like, I called you several days ago and you must be crazy because you haven't called me back. Like, he felt so disrespectful. Back.
Early signs right there.
Right, exactly. So acts where they're very controlling, like, I am God's gift to woman, and you must have something wrong with you if you do not look at me as a good catch.
Exaggerated self-importance.
My goodness. So inflated sense of identity and belonging, all of these things. But remember, narcissists, they are developed by way of missing the attachment phase in their childhood. They were missing being held, they were missing being affirmed, good job, I see you,
Mhm.
being valued. So they grow up as adults being very insecure, and that insecurity, it drives their ego. So
Mhm. So, have you ever been out, Taishay, and met somebody out and they were like exaggerated of their achievements and talents, and you could tell that they were exaggerating? That's another early sign. Like you'll meet those people that exaggerate, like all of a sudden they bought this awesome boat, and congratulations, just be proud you bought a boat, but no, it has to be a yacht. And even though it's not a yacht, they will exaggerate this to you. That's another sign that you see in narcissists.
And see,
Not
with that,
everybody.
like that would probably be a sign that I would miss, because I'm
Mhm.
like, if he's telling me all this, or whoever's telling me all this, and I'm like,
Not
oh, okay,
not
I'm
a
like into it, like
yeah.
yes, like because I love a person
Yeah,
that
you
is more, yeah, I like a person that's more confident than the ones that is just like,
Mhm.
shut down. I don't, I don't do this, I don't do that. Like, let me know, tell me a little bit about you. So
Yeah.
that's probably one early sign that I will miss.
Mhm.
For
And it's not
sure.
everybody. Some people, especially guys, it's just their ego. You know what I mean? Like they have an ego. And I don't mean that bad against guys, but you guys do have a bigger ego than me. And that's just fact. But
Lately, I don't know. Lately, they've been
lately,
real insecure.
I feel like yeah, yeah, but their ego, they still have an ego, even
Yeah.
when they are insecure. It's like
it's very
especially if you see
huge.
other men hurt other men's egos, they're like, "Meh." It's like worse than cat fights and girls. But no, it's just funny. But yeah, it's not everybody. Sometimes people just like to brag, but that's kind of a sign,
Yeah. And
you
they
know.
typically are like very charismatic. They
Mhm.
usually are very good
Yes.
looking. They usually are no, they're the type that makes you feel so good, and they are the life of the party.
Yeah.
They have so much fun while you're with them and they're out. But when you go home with them,
Mhm.
if you were to go home with them, they're completely different. They're
Mhm. Like a
completely different than that outward
sacrifice.
representative that you were able to see. That's not them anymore behind closed doors.
Mhm.
So
Okay. So
Yeah.
I kind of figure listening to y'all that I have the answer in my mind, but I still want to ask just in case. So
yeah.
have you ladies dated narcissists?
Oh yeah. I was married to one for 20 years.
Oof.
So that's
And
why I'm an expert.
what were the biggest things that he did as a narcissist that irritated you?
It was the gaslighting a lot of times. It was the gaslighting that led to emotional and more psychological abuse. And then, of course, if you don't leave, if you don't stop, if you don't break away, then it leads to physical abuse. So I try to share with young women, because I got into this relationship when I was very young. And coming into that space, not having a mom or a dad, I didn't have parents very young. They were killed. So I was raised by my grandmother. So that whole defense, that front line of defense, where your mom teaches you how to value yourself, how to love yourself, and where your father is to teach you how the man is supposed to treat you, the standard, that wasn't there. So I go out into the world and I have no knowledge about personality disorders. And a narcissist is a true personality disorder. It is listed very much like anyone who has been diagnosed with depression or even anxiety. So these are the things that, as women, especially professional women, we have to be mindful of when we are dating and we are inviting these types of people into our spaces, because that energy, it blocks you. It blocks your growth, your personal development. It erodes your self-esteem. Have you feeling like you're the one who's crazy, right? You're the one who's missing, some memos. No, you're not missing the memo. You got the memo. It's just that
Yep.
that person is gaslighting you. So now you're kind of like not sure of yourself. So it is an interesting dynamic and a very dangerous dynamic to be in. So for anyone out there in, the World Wide Web, if you are especially an empath, someone who is naturally loving and giving and a helper and a healer, you attract those people naturally. You attract them naturally. So just be mindful of what we are attracting, because we don't need to open ourselves up to every and anything.
That was deep. That was good.
Yeah, very.
I feel
Thank you,
that.
They are.
my pain, can help somebody else out there.
Yeah.
I'm really just sitting here like, dang. And I'm trying to think myself, like, I do know one narcissist person. Is it narcissist or narcissistic person?
Narcissistic person.
Yeah.
Okay. I know one narcissistic person, but I was never like it's a relative. So I don't think I dated a narcissist, but I had a relative that I just, oh my God, like I had to, like, we can't even last a day without arguing. So like we will have fun for like a couple hours and then I'm like, all right, let me hurry up and go before it gets bad.
Right.
And then that person was the type that like they'll start an argument with you, and then when they get you to that point where you're arguing back, then they'll like try to sit back and be like, "You're crazy. You're just acting out for no reason," and like it would just always become too much. So I was like, I know for a fact that's a narcissist right there. I was like, still love them, family member, but I definitely have to love them from afar. I won't say he or she. Love them from afar.
Good. That's good. It's crazy because I watched this guy on TikTok who's a narcissist and he knows it and he goes to lots of therapy for it. He goes twice a week for it. And he shares his experience and he's like, this is what I do in relationships and that I have to, he's like, it's not something you can treat, cure, or get rid of, but it's something you can manage. And so people who want to manage it, but a lot of people don't. You know what I mean? Like
I would say he's big ballsy for that.
Yeah, he was diagnosed with it and now he manages it. He goes to therapy twice a week, but he's able to maintain this good life and he's learned to like take a step back and think before reacting the way he wants to react.
Yeah.
I
love that.
It's a personality disorder. Like they can't help it.
They can't cure it. They can't.
They are, but it's impossible to be around, truly. Unless they are managing it. It's hard. I get what you're saying. I have a family member definitely who's a narcissist too, and it's hard. It's extremely hard.
It's hard when you're married to them. It's hard when you have one of them as a parent. It's hard when you have one of them as a sibling or as a friend. It's very difficult, and you just don't know what you don't know until it's too late. And so I do appreciate that your friend is in a space where he had a level of awareness and accountability, because that's rare. Like most people do not have accountability when it comes to narcissism. That's the whole point. It's to misplace that blame on someone else. So he's doing that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know him personally. I was just somebody I know. I follow him on TikTok. That's why I just wanted to make sure. I was like, what if he goes, I ain't her friend. I don't know her.
No. So whoever is out there, they can at least know that there is a resource on TikTok that has accepted this part of life, like, and can now take it and make some funny out of it.
Just like along what John said, nobody really, it's like saying you're jealous and you need to get help with that. Nobody's going to admit that they're jealous. Like, like especially in the minority community. I mean, I wouldn't even say just minority communities. It's just everywhere. Like no one's gonna, it's the first step is admitting it. No one's gonna admit that they're a narcissist.
Well, and let's be real, therapy, and I know there's a lot of places for people to get it, and it's getting better with helping, but it can get expensive. It's another healthcare thing that is kind of a luxury healthcare. I mean, a lot of people can't afford 40 to 100 and whatever they're charging a week, and because look at how expensive it is to even live. Yeah. And so that's another thing. And I know a lot of jobs are starting to get better with that and offering mental health and that stuff. I know that's happening, but it's still not far enough,
that's a huge point.
Yeah, but the stigmas are a real thing too. Like it sucks because I remember even back in the day when I was younger getting therapy and I would tell no one because if I said I got therapy, I was crazy,
criticized,
labeled. Crazy girl. She has to go to therapy. She's crazy, but nowadays I'm like it is coming to a more normalized thing. And it's
Yeah, it
like,
is.
life is hard. We all need some therapy, and therapy is
Yeah.
great.
Everyone.
Y'all. Get therapy. I recommend it.
For
I
sure.
love it.
I
I
love it
definitely
too.
like, I always tell
Therapy too.
myself, I'm gonna go get therapy. I'm gonna go get therapy. But one thing that definitely helped me is life coaching. My mom's a life coach.
Oh,
And so, yeah, she definitely helped. And even before she became a life coach, she was always good with giving advice and helping you out
Yeah.
through stuff. And so, honestly, if it wasn't for her, I'd probably either be dead or in jail.
Yeah.
Because I
Wow.
dealt with a lot, and there was times where I wanted to kill myself. There were times where I wanted to kill other people. So
Right.
with her being able to give me the advice she gave and being there for
Mhm.
me all the time, it
That's
was always
awesome.
helpful.
I
Yeah.
love
My mom
that.
is a therapist. That's what she does. She's a
And I'm a
counselor.
life coach. I do that too. I think we all have coaching capacities, right? Whether it's in acting or modeling or in life, or
Yeah.
spirituality, the pain that we have all been through is definitely an area that we can help others see through too. So
For
I
sure.
appreciate that. Yeah.
We've all had
Big
it.
ups
Like,
to mom.
Right.
mom taught me a lot. I'm thankful. I could pick out I always say, as when kids were young, they could shoot guns and do cool things. And my mom was teaching me how to pick out narcissists and stuff.
That
Yes,
was my mom.
exactly.
My
See,
mom
she
was
was
like
doing her
that. She was big
job.
on the signs too.
Yeah.
She was like, "You're gonna learn about these people and
You're
their
gonna learn
personality."
about these
And I
people.
don't know if it
Right.
was her teaching us or if it was like something that was genetic, but we're really good. Me and my sister, we're really good at observing behaviors, and we'll
Mhm.
sit back and watch. And we get so good, it's to the point we know someone's next move based on behaviors.
I love it.
Yes.
Great.
I
People
love
It's
that.
scary, but it's great because it's like, oh, I know what she's gonna do. I'm gonna stay away from her. And then they're like,
That's
well,
the
what
fun
did
part.
we do? And it's like, you can't really explain, you
Yeah.
know, that I know your behaviors and I know your patterns and I don't mess with you because of those patterns.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
you
people.
wonder why I avoid you, why I need to have some sage is because
Mhm.
of you. So yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, I
No,
got
I
some
love
things
that.
right over here. The bar's fun.
Okay, I did want to ask while you were talking, Sydney, because I didn't get to hear yours. What is your experience with a narcissist in a relationship?
I dated this person. I was still young, and I knew they were a narcissist. But when you're young, things take over and you don't listen to what your mom taught you all the time. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
for sure.
Just a big narcissist. Manipulate. I'm trying to think. I mean, the manipulation was, I'm trying to like avoid certain details, but like manipulation was real. It was bad. It was like, you could literally, you would say something, like you would be in a little argument and you would say something, and then they would say something, but what they said was really horrible. And then they would come back and yell at you for saying that to them. But you
Mhm.
didn't say it. They said it to you.
Wow.
And then
People.
they would convince you that you said it and that you should be apologizing. When, if I go back and listen to I started voice recording.
Right.
Like, it's crazy.
That's sad that you had to do that.
Right.
Manipulated out of money. And then when it was time to pay back, instead you destroy the things that were bought and push me in front of a moving vehicle. But okay. Yeah. So welcome. Yeah. Don't date a narcissist.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that's
It
crazy.
becomes absolutely toxic.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm innocent, but I just didn't know how to handle it. So, it was like a bomb setting off with a narcissist who's getting points to use against me. You know what I mean? Like, it was rough.
Speaking of that, like, I'm assuming that these are narcissists, but I always hear, and I don't think that I've necessarily dealt with it that I could think of, but I always hear about the relationships where the partner's like, if you leave me, I'll kill myself, or I'll harm myself.
That's another one.
Like,
So,
how do you deal, like, if you've been in that situation, how do you even deal with that? Like, you would have to obviously leave at that point because they're gonna drain you. But it's like, assuming that they would actually try to do that, how would you go about that without feeling guilty?
most people I've noticed they stay over and over and over again, and they continue to say, please. And then eventually enough is enough and you leave. But I don't know, maybe Camille, I've had that before, but I got to a point where I was just like, you know what? And I swear, I think I said, I don't care. And I do care. You know what I mean? That's not true. But at some point I had to choose me. Like, I cannot. So
I
chose
like how
me.
you said that.
Yeah.
I like what you said, Sydney. You said, I choose me.
Hmm.
I choose me. And I haven't had anyone who was saying that they would hurt themselves, although I had a lot of experiences, but I did know of someone else who actually came home to that person hurting themselves, trying to like lock themselves up in the car and commit suicide because they wanted out of the out of the relationship. And so, but these were still indicators for me. These were still like, oh wow, like people will go to these grave lengths to stay in situations that wasn't bringing them happiness or joy. Like that was the whole point of it being time to release and let go. So I feel as though the lesson here is to understand the signs, read the energy when it's time to leave, when it's time to let go. You know, we oftentimes will hold on, hurting ourselves even more when it's just much more easier to release them and you in love and forgiveness to the most high, to a higher power, because we can't be the saviors. We have to
Right.
choose ourselves.
Mhm.
That's the biggest thing. I had someone that very close to me that went through something like that. And like I said, I really wasn't big on narcissists, so I didn't understand it. But listening to this conversation, he's definitely a narcissist. And he used to, he was very verbally and physically abusive. And it was to the point where I would freak out at night because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to wake up to that call. Like, thankfully, she finally got out and was like, you know what? I choose me.
Yeah.
And he made those threats of, I'll kill myself, I'll kill our child. And it's like, no, like, don't bring your child around him. Like, you gotta know when the signs are real. And it took a while. Eventually, she thought he got over it. It was a few years later, and then he ended up killing himself. And
Oh,
so, yeah, and it's like,
Mm.
you know, we're blessed that she put herself first. And it still gets me choked up because it's like them being so close to
yeah.
me, and then to just have this happen. But he was like definitely like in that guilt, like, is this because of me? And it's like, no, like, you chose yourself. If you wouldn't have, you would have been the one gone. You know what I mean? So it's like, I know that for her it's hard. Like, I can't even imagine how hard she's taking it. It's been a few years since it happened, but it still bothers her. I can tell. And so I always try to be there for her as much as I can, but I don't want to like pressure her about talking about it and making her go back and relive that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I just try to stay away from it, but it's definitely hurtful. That's why I asked, like, how do you could you ever get over that? Would you always feel that guilt, like, there was nothing I could do, I failed him or her?
I don't. That's a hard one. I
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if y'all read
That's
that. It's like they
not her
study to know
fault.
you.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not your fault. You know what I mean? You
Right,
stayed
Taz,
is
I see.
the what?
Taz is saying it's like they study you to know what emotions to play on and then use it against you. That is
Exactly.
Yeah.
absolutely a telltale sign when you're like arguing in a relationship. Like that's what I wait for. I try not to fall in love and be all head over heels with people
Mhm.
anymore. And I try not to get in a relationship right away. Get to know people, become their friends, see them in all seasons, see them when they're angry, see them when they're anxious or waiting, or if you told them no, like how are they responding to you? And so what I'm hearing Taz say is when people are manipulative, they'll learn everything about you because you're
Mhm.
telling them, you're
Right.
sharing with them, and you're sharing things with them in confidence. You're sharing things with them in hopes of building a rapport and a friendship, maybe even something more. But when you get into an argument and then they turn around and use those very same things that they know would hurt you
Mhm.
against you, that is a red flag. That is a red flag. You always want to argue and focus on the problem, not the people, right? We're
Yeah.
just people, but we have issues all the time, and the issue is the problem. So when we're arguing, we shouldn't be focusing on each other and trying to rip each other's character down. We
Right.
should just be focusing on what is the issue? What is my problem? What's your problem? And let's fix it.
Yep. And I think that's a big thing in relationships, regardless if you're a narcissist or not, is the can I take accountability for what I've done instead of, always blaming you for what you've done. But I do have to ask, because I'm kind of feeling a little bit of guilt over here. And I don't know if this is maybe a little bit of narcissist for me, but I did have a situation where I was getting to know a guy, he was getting to know me, and I wanted him to be the utmost honest with me. Like, I feel like guys always lie, or they say they lie because that's what the girls want. They don't want to hurt the girls' feelings.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I want you to be so honest with me. Tell me everything. And he did tell me that he was, we weren't dating at the time. We were kind of in that talking stage. So he did admit that he was talking to other females. And so to me, it was like, okay, he told the truth. But I started to use that against him. So like anytime anything would happen, it doesn't even matter if it was an argument or, he's asking me where we stand, what we're doing. To me, it was always like well, you're entertaining other people, so we're not serious. We're not going anywhere with this. And he did bring that up. He was like, I told you that because you wanted me to be honest. Don't use it against me. And so I was like, ooh.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sydney?
I mean, is he right? Yes, technically. You know what I mean? He is, he was honest, and you don't want to use it against him. Does that mean that Taisha didn't have the right to feel how she did? Yeah. I mean, I found that like we're so big on telling ourselves feeling guilty for the way we feel, but I think we should all just allow ourselves to naturally feel what we feel, and it's how we react that's important. So it's not our feelings, it's our reaction. So you were validated in feeling how you were feeling. That's how you felt. You can't control that. You know what I mean? But after, and it's okay. It's not the worst, Taisha, because after he said that, did you stop using it against him?
I actually kind of just ended the whole thing. You can't, because it was in that moment. It was in that moment where he was asking me, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna make it official? And well, for one, it's a long distance. He lives in Florida, and to me, it's like, well, one, you're already entertaining other females, and we live far from each other. So how do I know that you're not gonna feel lonely and then go mess with those
and go entertain them?
So it was really hard for me to and I guess I did kind of put it on him, like, this is what you do, and because of that, we can't be together. But I guess and maybe I should just go back and apologize to him, because now I'm feeling like, dang, maybe it was more of me, and maybe I should have told him that it was me that was the reason why we couldn't move forward. I had the issues,
that would be.
I'm not a narcissist.
You're not, Taisha. No way. No way.
I think with me though, what I love about myself is that I can recognize, and I can.
Narcissists would never recognize that.
Yeah, see, that's
so, there you go, right there. You're not one.
I definitely will. Outside of that part, I will recognize most of my flaws, and I will definitely take accountability for it.
But I don't think you're so off. I think you were right to feel the way you did, and even though you asked for honesty, you still going to feel the way you do. And I think ending it would have been the best, because if you're feeling that way and you're the one who has an issue with where your relationship is going, then it was right of you to break it off. I really don't think you did anything wrong, because you also realized, hey, maybe I shouldn't use it against him. So I feel like it was a good growing moment where you handled it well.
I think so too, because it was, I mean, you felt it. If you would have felt safe, you would have been okay with proceeding in that manner. You would have felt like there's no competition here, even if you are entertaining other people.
That's a good way to put it.
You could have been entertaining other people too. But because we're in this space where you're like, well, I like you, and he's saying, well, I like you, then all those other people could evaporate. Like, they could totally go away. But if you didn't feel safe, and he didn't create that safety for you,
that's
in the midst of him working with the other ones, then I think you did what was right for you.
Yeah. I didn't. I didn't feel like I didn't feel like we were both all the way there. I feel like I was catching feelings, and he was just playing along, doing the guy thing, having fun, and us women, we get our feelings are more strong. Well, I feel like personally, our feelings are more strong than men. So it's like, I just didn't feel that with him. I didn't feel like he was in it as much as I was. So
No,
just
that's a
really
good
wanted to
point.
end it soon.
Yeah, I'm
Protecting your peace.
yeah.
Exactly.
That's why I love that you said that, Camille. You're right. Like, even there's something about that relationship that wasn't making you feel safe enough to feel safe enough with that. So good way put. I love that you said that. That's another side of it. That very good
Another
point.
red flag. No.
Right.
Definitely.
Y'all think that two narcissists can work together?
Oh no. Maybe if they're going against another person.
I don't think so.
I just
They're not
don't
going to give each other what they need.
Nope. They need somebody who will be controlled and manipulated, and they can't handle somebody else who's like, hold up, I know what you're doing. What are you doing? Oh, I know what you're doing. You ain't gonna manipulate me. Like, you know what I mean? They would call each other out.
It's like an FBI agent and a CIA agent, and they're fighting, and they're like, wait a minute, like they're using the same moves. They're like, wait a minute, we've got the same combat training. Hold up. Yeah. You must be government. They're like, yes, like we're the same.
Well, I feel like there are those people out there that are like, you know, because I'm like this and this person's like this, then we can both deal with deal with each other. I don't know.
I don't see narcissists because they need. It's like a need they need. They're disorder. Literally, they need to be able to control and be that the whatever. Not. I don't say hate. I hate saying control is the word, but you know what I mean. They need to be able to manipulate and gaslight, and they need it almost to make themselves feel better. And
it's
so
the ego. They need the energy. Yeah. It's like energy vampires for me.
I just can't.
They like need a host to plug into to siphon off some of that ego stroking. They need someone to be like, you're amazing.
Like if the avatar went wrong.
Sydney, I love it.
That's crazy.
So here's the question.
Go ahead.
Do you think that an empath and a narcissist could get along? Like, could a relationship work?
It would be a sad relationship. Yeah, they could, but it would be a sad relationship for the empath.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Poor empath who feels all of it.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
I can't see that working.
Yeah, I agree. It didn't work.
We got done with that.
It was awful. So now I live to tell it.
How long were you in that relationship?
20 years.
Woo! And like, did it like start out like? Well, it probably obviously didn't start out that way, but like, was it like full 20 years that he was like a narcissist?
Oh yeah,
there were signs in the beginning. Like I can look back and see that no, that was a red flag. That was a red flag. But when you're young, and like I shared with you, and this is why older men sometimes will want to date a younger woman, because they don't have this level of maturity yet. And so for me, those controlling behaviors, if I say that, it for me, it translated as love or affection or he cares, right? Call me when you get home. It might look like text me as soon as you get home. Yeah. And then you're texting him as soon as you get home on Monday. Then it's Tuesday, then Wednesday. It's, you're texting him every time you go anywhere, right? You see how it goes from.
I would ignore that sign. I would be like, oh, he loves me.
Right. You think, no, that's awesome. He cares. Next thing you know, if you don't text him when you get home, what's his response? Is he accusing you of cheating? Is he pressuring you? Like, what's his response? And how do you feel after responding? Tasmay saying something, y'all.
They also know how to manipulate you sexually because that is a way to play on your vulnerability. Woo.
True. Sex absolutely is a part of it.
Deep.
Yeah.
And it's usually the best
where
part,
you're definitely gonna
might I add. Yeah, the sex is usually the best part because you got like all these other parts of the relationship that's not right. It's like this honeymoon phase. That's what makes it so great, is because you fight so hard and ferociously, but you also fuck as hard and ferociously. So it's crazy, this dynamic.
Yeah. Lord.
Crazy it is. That's why I'm a little psycho to this day, but it's okay.
I feel you. I'm right here
I
with you.
put my parts back together again very nicely.
That's
Now now just come with a different flavor. So yeah, it's okay.
I feel that.
that's
Yeah. So are all narcissists like? Do they all gaslight, or are there some that don't?
God, it's hard, because it's like you don't know every narcissist in the world, but I've never known one that I've come across that didn't gaslight or manipulate in some form of way. I kind of feel like it comes with narcissism, but I'm sure there's one out there that doesn't. I don't know, maybe, but no, I kind of see it as something that comes with it. Like it's one of the ways to determine if you're a narcissist.
Gotcha. Can you like not be a narcissist and still gaslight? Okay.
Mm-hmm. People do it all the time.
It's a learned behavior. People can learn that behavior. They can learn how that tool gets them what they want if they're successful. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's
Well, with learned behavior,
that is scary. It is.
With that learned behavior, would it necessarily mean that you're like, you would be a narcissist if you're like hanging out with a narcissist and you're learning their personalities, and then that kind of hits you too, where you're doing the same things they're doing?
No, because your brain doesn't have the same chemical responses as a narcissist would. I guess that's the best way to say it. I mean, it's a learned behavior, so you're going to have the behaviors of a narcissist. But I don't think, because I think there's something with narcissists that it's a disorder, so there's something they're missing. So you would still have the conscience that they don't have. Like, you know what I mean? So, but you're just learning this behavior. It's programmed at that point. So you're not a narcissist. You're just a programmed narcissist.
Wow. I'm not even gonna lie. I never knew that this was a disorder. I thought it was just something that people were like, okay, we're gonna label these people as these kind of people because they a little bit
overuse the term. Anybody who's about themselves or cocky, they're like, they're a narcissist. You know what I mean? No, most of these people are not. You know what I mean? They just have learned behavior of acting like a narcissist, or they're Leos. Okay.
Sorry, Leo.
Yikes.
But it's true. It's part of a Leo's personality trait. Usually they love themselves and love attention.
But you are not the first person to say that. I've had so many people say Leos are like that. Like they're very about themselves. It's always about them and what they're doing. And I thought that about Libras. I thought Libras were like that.
Yeah.
And Cancer too. Cancers are very
manipulative. Yep.
Very manipulative.
Yep.
There you go. So I guess
what's already programmed in the astrological charts. Those are some of them.
Yeah. So, not all of them are narcissists, but if people go get diagnosed with it, they can.
Yeah.
So would this be an early sign? There was this guy that I wasn't necessarily dating, but we went on a couple of dates, and he was a sweet guy. I wasn't really physically attracted to him, but at first, the very first night I met him, his personality was what got me. So I was like, oh, I kind of like him. So then, we went on a couple of dates. Yeah. But I noticed after time, it became a lot about him. Like, I do this, I want this is what I want. And it was never, what are you looking for in a guy? It was always, this is what I want in a woman, and I feel like you're that woman. And it's like, how do you know I'm that woman? Because a lot of stuff you're saying is not what I am. And so, like, to me, when I started seeing those signs, I didn't think narcissist, but I thought, like, he's about to be that controlling man. Because he was a man, he's very successful. He has a lot of money. He has his own businesses.
A lot of those be narcissists because that's how they get where they get.
And that's how I feel about a lot of men who have a lot of money. They get controlling. They're like, oh, I have this money I'm going to bribe her with, and that's how I'm going to get her. And to me, I'm like, I've dealt with guys that had money, so I was already seeing those signs with him, and I'm like, yeah, I can't do this because I just can't. Like, you cannot get me with money. I've dealt with a lot of men that didn't have much, but I loved them to death. So you can't get me with the money.
It's crazy because people will say that, and I've actually heard this from a lot of people, and I'm not saying all surgeons, but people tend to say surgeons tend to be narcissists too, because it takes somebody who has that much confidence in themselves to open a body.
You got to have a lot of confidence.
That's true. That's so true, Sydney.
Yeah,
they are
I never even thought about that, and that's deep.
The God complex.
God complex.
Like they have to have their confidence so high where they feel as though they are like God, like they can tap into godlike abilities.
And
so.
I'm not mad at it because we do need surgeons, but I just feel bad for all the surgeons' wives. But then I don't, because if they're making a lot of money, the wives are probably just living life anyway. I don't know. You know, it's kind of bittersweet.
They're busy. You know, they hardly ever see their husbands anyway. So.
The wives are probably like, cool, deal with 5 hours this week.
Right.
Whining with my girls. Like, you know, I don't know. My other surgeons' wives.
That makes sense. You
said not you. I'm a Leo, but I am definitely not a narcissist, and I do.
No, Leos are not narcissists. Let's clarify that. Leos are not narcissists. I just was saying that, unless you're Leo, and not you, Taz, but other Leos I've met, and they be that way.
Yeah, I think, like you guys said, it's because they're so about themselves that they come off as narcissists.
But it's misused term. Leos are not narcissists. It's just their personality traits and their astrological sign. Like Taz is lying. Oh, great. You know, I mean,
they just have strong personalities. That it's like that alpha, right? We got different types of people, right? When it comes to men, alpha men, sigma men, beta men. You know, so alpha men, they're very confident, they're very outspoken, they know what they want, they are decisive. Beta men, they might be indecisive, they might be more flexible, they may not be as rigid, they may not be as controlling, or you know, so it's just knowing who you are dating, and also chemistry works. So, you know, sometimes you are with someone who may not bring out the best in you. They may not be a narcissist, but alpha men, whatever, most are assholes. You probably are right. But at least I know they're decisive. I know they know what they want. Right? They are sure. So, you know, versus someone who might oscillate back and forth. They may not know what they want. They're kind of flip-flopping between, yeah, I may want this relationship. No, I don't want this relationship. So it might look like that. So it just depends on who you are attracted to. Y'all mesh.
This is a little off subject, but to the alpha men, do you think that they're going extinct?
No.
Yes.
I feel like it.
I feel like you're such a man. Where are you?
I don't even date them, so I can't say much, but I see a lot of them. I feel like I do. And
I feel like we're running out of them.
Something's in the water.
No, Kiani, don't say that.
Why? You guys want alpha men?
Yes.
Kiani's like,
I mean, I feel like a lot of alpha men are more traditional men. And so they're the ones that are going to take care of home. But, you know, we're in these times where women can work and we can, you know, help, which I'm okay with that too. But I love a man that's going to lead. I love a man. I don't want to be the leader. I'm a follower.
I want to be submissive. Okay.
I'm the one that'll lead. I always tell people in a zombie apocalypse, find me. I already got a plan.
I'm glad you said that, because the way this world is going, you never know.
I already got a plan. Mapped out. I'm going to create our own paradise.
You're only looking at the stereotypical alpha male trait and ignoring all the glaring problems that alpha men have.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
We talked about that.
Explain this. What is the trauma that they cause?
Wait, you want me or John?
You.
I mean, I see, like, from like past alpha men I know, like, I feel like they tend to be kind of narcissistic.
In what way? Like controlling? Yeah.
And controlling, and like what Camille said with the texting, they need to know where you are. I feel like they have this self-importance because they do take care of the house.
I knew I shouldn't have asked. I knew you was gonna.
Okay, Camille, come back. Where did you go? Come in.
What would you like to say, Kiana?
Go ahead. You speak to the alpha men.
Oh, wait. Greg says each woman has a different version of their alpha male. That's what I was talking about, because there's so many different takes on what an alpha male is. Like, Taisha, you just talked about the traditional male who leads, take care of the family. But there's a lot of alpha males out here that aren't compassionate, don't care about your feelings, only want
Mhm.
what they want. And if you're a male that lets your wife make a couple of decisions, you're automatically classified as a beta. So
Ah,
that's why some men, we get annoyed with the alpha beta thing, because there's so many different versions and opinions on what an alpha male is. And if you don't
Mhm.
fit that certain window, what, you and your wife share responsibilities? Beta. You and your wife do this? Beta. What do
I
you
don't
mean?
think there's anything wrong with a mix of that, though.
I
yeah.
don't think
I
That's
used
I,
what I was just saying.
balance
There's a
is
lot of
key.
men that will not take care of home. They have those single mothers
Mhm.
who
Mhm.
have done everything, and so they expect their woman to do
So
everything.
those aren't even classified as any alpha, beta, sigma, whatever males. Those are just little boys.
Right. So I was going to
I
say, we're
guess
talking about, we
I'm
got to
guilty.
account for maturity too,
Mhm,
right? You know, they can be an alpha male, but they could be immature
mhm.
or have been hurt,
Yeah.
heartbroken, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have experienced trauma. So there's so many other things. It's not so cut and dry. That's all. Too many. Gregory says, too many. I may be considered a beta because I give my woman a lot of choices and factor her decisions
I
in
like that,
to what
Gregory.
I do. I think it
Oh
may
yeah.
depend on the situation. I
Yeah,
agree
that's
with you,
true. Yeah.
Gregory.
That's
Truly.
why I'm saying
We
it
would
can be a
appreciate
mix of the
that.
alpha and beta, or it can be a mix of,
Yeah.
I like
any kind of
that.
man, but it's more so of like you want that man that's going to put his family first. If somebody, like, for example, I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but for example, if you were in a house with your husband and kids and someone broke in, you don't want to jump in front of your husband and say, "Let me take care of this," right? No, you want to go to your
Right.
husband and be like, "Babe, get the gun. Like, what do we do?" And he's gonna be the one that's like, "All right, this is what y'all gonna do." You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So that's
I
what
mean,
I kind of mean by that. There's like
yeah.
a balance of both.
Okay. I see that. And you know what? John made a really good point because I do only have one view of an alpha male. I guess when people say alpha male, I think of that controlling alpha man. I don't think of, I know. See, I don't think of like what you guys are saying. So you're right. There is different type of alpha males, but also this is not my category. I don't know, because if somebody was to break into my house, I'm going to take the knife and stab you in the throat. You're going to regret coming to my house, or my big Great Dane will eat your face. So you know what I mean? I've never, and maybe because my roles are different, I have a wife. You know what I mean? So maybe
You
I
would be
am that
considered
alpha.
the alpha male.
Yeah.
Yes, you are the alpha male right
Consider.
now.
But I'm crazy. I mean, you come into my house, I will, even if I was married to a man, I truly believe I would be the crazy one to come down the stairs with my big old, you better run. Like, I don't know. I think that's my aggressive personality.
Well, with
Keone
with
says, how
that,
about
it's like
whoever is closer
Ready
to
to
the
go.
weapon, so to not wait so that the other one don't die. So
Mhm.
both of
I
y'all
feel
don't
like
die.
that. I mean,
I would say one of
only
us
because I've trained. Yeah, hell yeah. But
break my house.
a lot of women don't train. A lot of men don't let their women go train with guns or anything. So
I
No,
definitely
yeah, it's
support
like
training.
no. I think women should. I think
Yeah, I think
especially
so
in
too.
this day and
I
age,
definitely got
go
my
to the
own,
shooting
and
range. Yeah.
I'm touche, sister. I'm
with
like,
me and
oh,
my
Georgia
son's
has
father,
open
it's
carry.
like
Okay,
you get yours, I'm gonna get mine. Let's go.
I'm gonna get mine. Okay,
Listen, y'all can
Bonnie and
teach
Clyde
yourself
in here.
martial arts
Okay.
on YouTube now. They'll
Really?
teach you how to use nunchucks, staff. Yeah, this one guy, I watch him and you can do your staff with him. I don't know, it's cool. There's a lot of ways to like
You gotta send me that so now I get this leg together.
okay,
I'm on
learn
it.
learn how to defend yourself. Like
I mean,
I'm
I
totally
know street.
for
What
it.
does Medea say? I know whoop your ass.
mhm. Watch some Medea. You will learn a lot. Put some grits in it, heat him up,
Exactly. Bye.
Boom,
throw
boom.
him at him, and hit him.
Exactly. At the same time. Wow.
Medea will
In a
teach
world where we
you.
have to be so masculine,
I
right? I
know.
mean, these are what we
See,
have
and
to
that's
do.
where I struggle with. That's where I struggle.
I
I
want to
can
be
be
feminine.
masculine. I
Mhm.
can be masculine, but I don't want to.
I don't
I
want
don't
to.
want to.
But can I say an argument here?
Yes.
I guess I'm really masculine, but I truly think who originally said those were feminine and masculine? And I think we're so stuck in gender terms and gender roles that it's been programmed. Who
Yeah.
can say that's masculine or feminine?
Well,
You
now
know,
I
it's
think
changing, so
it's
now
about
we're all
balance, right?
confused.
mhm.
So, I mean,
Balance.
it'll get to a point where like the confusing is normal. But yeah, I mean, it's like I'm going to miss that traditional way of thinking, but at the same time, it's like it's good to have change and understand
Yeah.
everyone else's perspective of what they want, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
well,
It's
that's pretty
okay to
harsh
be
on
attracted
me.
to a masculine woman. It's okay to be
Yeah.
attracted to, I don't want to say a feminine man because I don't want to, I feel like they get more offended with that, but
They're-
more attracted to a man who's
feminine men. I'll say it for you. Work it. I love my feminine men.
yeah, I've known men that were comfortable with themselves, comfortable enough that they could do stuff
And
like
those who are offended clearly are
yeah,
not.
exactly.
Mhm.
So it's like that doesn't bother me at all, but I still want you to take out the trash.
I just want like, okay, so Jill
Ask.
Scott says it
Ask.
best. She had this reel and she goes, if you can tell me what to do, then you can tell me what to do. But if you can't tell me what to do, then you can't tell me what to do.
I know that's right. It makes sense, right?
That resonates with me so much.
It's great.
It makes sense, and that is how it really is.
Yeah.
That is how it really is.
I do
I
not.
guess all the guys on who listens to this, they'll get that. They'll get that.
Yeah, they'll be
Y'all
like
get that later on. But
they gonna
yeah,
find a way to
cheers.
come at you. They're gonna be like, she wrong for that.
I don't know. It's crazy. I feel like we've grown up in a world for so long that, like, even y'all, it wasn't even that long ago. Like, my wife's mom was married to her dad at a time when she wasn't even allowed to have her own bank account. It had to be your husband's bank account. Like, that wasn't that long ago.
Right.
And so, like, I think about that stuff, like, and I get what you're saying. Like, there's certain gender roles that I'm not saying need to change, but sometimes, like, people are so caught up in labeling them, like, you want them to take the trash out, and that's fair. Maybe marry somebody that will, but people are so focused on, like, but that's a male's gendered thing, and I'm like, but it's not. You know what I mean? It could be either or, but it's really about what your preference are. And you would like somebody to, do the trash and to take care of the home and that's perfectly fair to want. You know what I mean? I'm sorry that there's not a lot available now.
They're not.
What is that about?
Happy.
What do you think that's why? Why do you think that is?
You'll put Greg on blast. I just feel like men are so contradicting, and men, well, let me not say men, let me just say people in general. They are so contradicting that it's like they want a feminine, and I read this on a post the other day, and I was just so like, really? There were guys that were mad that women are too masculine. But these are the same guys that complain about not being taken on dates, not receiving their flowers. Like, come on now. So y'all want to be feminine, but y'all mad that we're being masculine.
What?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm also what?
It's funny how they, and think about it. Over the time, women have had to become, I guess, what you would say, more masculine because men weren't stepping up for them to stay feminine. So they forget about that side too. I feel like we've had to, as women, we've had to step up. We've had to do it all.
All right, Greg, what is
earlier in my life we were dominant, and then with liberal college and females are dominant. Now we are recession and men are taking the lead again. Not in my life, Gregory. Sorry.
I mean, like I said,
let's just be happy.
I don't mind. We don't need anybody to control because we're not back in those days where you're gonna just go out and have 5 wives and we just gonna be sitting at home trying to take care of the kids and everything.
And nor is it going to be a Handmaid's Tale. Like, we're not going back where you're taking away our rights and then we're going back to the
No, men can. It's not about leaving. It's about what you want in a relationship. If you want to have the baby, and take out work, that's fine.
Go home.
Find that man, girl.
Work. Make up y'all's mind. Okay. How about we'll just make up your minds for you.
There's too many different relationships now for any gender to lead one other. Sorry. Yeah, that's just how I see it. Like, that's why I said, sorry, it won't be me. There's never going to be a man to lead this relationship. So it's like one of those things, where it's like, I guess it's your
person. It is.
Yep.
I just want my soulmate and to be happy. And it doesn't have to be the traditional or progressive. Like, we can have a nice mixed bag of it all.
You have that communication and plan for yourselves. Like,
enjoy life. That's all.
I agree with Camille.
No man knows you want him to take the trash. He better take the trash.
Right. And no narcissists. We don't want the narcissists.
No more toxic love.
No manipulation. Yeah.
Learn yourself, love yourself, and do better. Okay.
Yes.
Everybody did that.
The world will be a better place.
Then
The world is
people who are
already a
that
better
way
place.
won't have any power.
Right.
Thank you
God,
guys for
love you.
joining us tonight.
Thank
Oh my-
y'all. Love y'all. Sorry, Weenie Trades. We'll see you next time.